Every leader I talk to faces the same challenge. You're under pressure to deliver results today, while everyone's also looking to you to prepare the organization for tomorrow. And that's exactly why I made this video, to share a 4-step framework that makes you a future-ready leader. Because here's the thing, that balance between delivering now and preparing for what's next isn't easy. Because the future isn't a straight line anymore. It's shifting faster than your strategy deck can keep up. You plan, you pivot, and still the ground keeps moving. That constant uncertainty can wear even the best leaders down. Right now, uncertainty feels overwhelming. Tech, politics, climate, business, everything's shifting fast. It's exhausting, and honestly, it keeps many leaders stuck either in waiting or in reactive mode. But the leaders who thrive, they handle uncertainty differently. They don't wait for clarity. They create momentum for what's next. From working with these leaders, I've learned their success isn't luck. It comes from consistent practice. I'm Jan Mosdale, and I help leaders and organizations become future ready. And here's what I've noticed. It's not about trends. It's about 4 steps. Whenever I bring up futuring with executives, I hear the same 3 objections every single time. Number 1, we don't have time for this. Number 2, it's just guessing. Number 3, we'll deal with change when it happens. But here's the reality. Futuring isn't about prediction, it's about preparation. Spending a small amount of time now saves enormous costs later. And it isn't a distraction from today's business. It's what ensures your business will still exist tomorrow. Peter Drucker once said something brilliant. The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence. It is to act with yesterday's logic. So if you aren't practicing futures thinking, you are not saving time. You're borrowing risk from the future. So how do you actually do this as a leader? Because you don't need a 100-page trend report. You don't need an internal think tank. What you do need is a repeatable process. I use 4 simple steps with leaders. Let's walk through each one. Most leaders miss signals that could transform their business. Tesla didn't. Why? Tesla was quietly paying attention to batteries, environmental regulations, and rising consumer demand for sustainability years before traditional automakers even noticed. That foresight gave them a decade-long head start. Or take the food industry. 10 years ago, plant-based products were a tiny niche. Leaders who noticed early adoption in health food stores and vegan communities, they now run billion-dollar product lines. What made these leaders different wasn't luck. It was a simple but powerful practice. They paid attention. They noticed signals others missed. They deliberately stepped outside the day-to-day to spot emerging trends, technologies, behaviors, and shifts before anyone else does. Here's a simple exercise to start. At your next leadership meeting, give each person 10 minutes to share one unusual signal they've noticed. A news story, a regulation proposal, a tech demonstration, or a shift in customer behavior. You'll be amazed at how much broader your team's radar becomes. If you want help developing that skill, I've created a free email-based mini-course on horizon scanning. Short lessons you can apply right away to spot early signals before they go mainstream. You'll find the link in the description and in the pinned comments below. But noticing signals is only the start. The next step, that's where most leaders fail. When streaming first appeared, many dismissed it as a passing fad. People said, it's just a niche, it won't last. But some leaders noticed a pattern. Faster internet, shifting consumer habits, and growing demand for on-demand content. They acted on it. Netflix became a global giant, Blockbuster didn't. Or think about Apple and mobile internet adoption. Early movers saw the signal, imagined the implications, and acted. Those who ignored it fell behind. What made the difference? It was attention combined with judgment. They could separate what mattered from what was just noise. And if you want to go deeper, to build your own horizon scanning system and practice these steps with other forward-thinking leaders, join the waitlist for my next cohort-based course, Mastering Horizon Scanning. It starts in spring 2026, and I'm keeping the cohort small so everyone gets personal attention. You'll learn a repeatable process to anticipate trends and lead with confidence, not guesswork. You'll find the link to join the waitlist right below this video. Future-ready leaders sense. They know which signals matter and which are just noise. Here's a practical way to do it. use a simple 2x2 grid to map signals by impact and uncertainty. The signals that are high impact and pretty certain to happen, those are crucial for immediate planning and resource allocation. But the high impact, uncertain signals, that's where you focus your strategic foresight and experimentation. Ask yourself, what signals are you ignoring today because they seem too small? And what happens if they scale faster than expected? Leaders often stop at analysis, but some go further. They ask, what if? What if supply chains regionalize? What if AI automates 30% of knowledge work? What if climate regulation doubles your operating costs? Singapore has a national futures unit that does exactly this, imagining multiple long-term scenarios to make policy resilient across many possible futures. Here's a mini exercise for you. Pick one weak signal. Now flip it. Imagine the opposite. What would your organization need to do differently? This simple exercise can spark new strategic insights and open your mind to possibilities you hadn't considered. The practice behind it is what makes these leaders effective. They imagine, deliberately rehearsing multiple futures so they aren't caught off guard. But imagining alone won't make you future ready, but the next step will. Imagine this. A decade ago, Unilever noticed rising sustainability pressures. They didn't wait for regulation or try to overhaul their entire operations. Instead, they piloted refillable packaging in select markets. Today, they're ahead of the curve and recognized as an industry leader. Futures thinking isn't about daydreaming. It's about taking smart, deliberate action. You don't have to bet the company on a single scenario. Small experiments, pilots, and no-regret moves allow you to explore multiple possible futures while learning what works. Here's a practical challenge. What's one small experiment your team could run in the next 3 months to explore a possible future? Even a tiny test can give you insight, momentum, and confidence. The practice that makes these leaders successful is clear. They act, shaping the future through informed, iterative action rather than waiting for a certainty to happen. So here's your challenge. In the next week, identify one weak signal of change and bring it to your leadership team. Ask one question: what could this mean for us? That one conversation could shift your perspective and maybe even your strategy. Because most leaders know they should be spotting change before everyone else. But who has time for long reports, workshops, or endless meetings? That's why opportunities slip by and surprises hit hard. In the next video, I'll show you a 10-minute habit that most leaders skip, and it's the fastest way to spot opportunities before anyone else does.